So, we know the predetermined picks for SUNTZU, but for Sons of Zeus, they've got 3 Caesar javelins, Hannibal with 3 elephants, Hannibal with 3 Carthage swords, and Arminius with 3 Carthage cav. So it looks like... Hello. I am just talking about the predetermined picks and Sons of Zeus's racial affinity for Carthage units.
In the meantime, Pelasgus has asked for a 5-minute break. I imagine that would be okay. After all, they just finished the battle while SUNTZU had a lot of time to have a break. Well, they've also like just finish their battles faster, I guess.
I think Sons of Zeus's battle started late from the best of one, though, right? They were the ones whose opponents had the time mix-up.
No, it was old school. We messed up.
Yeah, but they were playing against Sons of Zeus, right?
Sure.
Oh, no?
They were playing against Via Victis, and both of the teams were there from the beginning. It just took them longer to finish their battles.
I see.
Maybe battles, not necessarily, but picks and everything around it, I guess. But speaking of that, Sons of Zeus have that advantage of the momentum being carried over from the previous battle, so they are constantly in that competitive, mood, way to go win another battle because they're also undefeated so far. So we'll see 2 undefeated teams going blow to blow with each other.
Interestingly enough, they are yet another team that has elephants in their predetermined picks.
Huh. I guess SUNTZU can get enough of those elephants. Well, it will be definitely interesting. SUNTZU team, I see they are nearby already in the channel, as well as SUNTZU NA and SUNTZU United. Also in the tournament, going for that 3rd place match, which is definitely going to be very, very interesting as well, with the different styles of both teams. Like we've seen SUNTZU NA very aggressive pushing, although, well, they're kind of forced to push in the previous battles. It went very well for them, and they will be on Germania and Gergovia. Gergovia is a decider map. And Germania has the biggest map in the game, with a lot of room to maneuver. I think SUNTZU NA can have an advantage over there. Yeah, we're definitely looking forward to see those battles after the tournament is over. So yeah, we have a 5-minute break requested by Zeus since I agreed to it, so I see no problem with that. And first map will be Capua, so Capua, 2 battles on that map, and then 1 or 2 battles. Passage is first? Or you mean
no,
next?
Passage is second.
Yeah, obviously that's what I was going to say. Yeah, passage is second, possibly one battle or under, maybe two, depending if it will be a 3-0 sweep or not. And then fifth battle, if it comes to it, will be on Salernum.
I'm definitely excited with the amount of elephants we've seen today to see them in use on the Donut of Death.
Well, nice name for Passage of Augustus, I guess, unless you meant something else.
No, that's Passage's name.
Okay. Well, yeah, elephants, since their biggest counter is eliminated from the tournament, which is heavy artillery, they have even more room to shine. But even if heavy artillery wasn't banned, I imagine most teams would decide to go for those elephants. SUNTZU decided not to put elephants in their predetermined picks, but they have been picking elephants in every single battle, most likely just to counter the enemy elephants.
Yeah, it's also something to be said that where the teams are quite large, at least for the first few games in the tournament, it might be worth hiding the fact that you're bringing elephants, even if you're planning to bring them regardless. If you're picking, say you're picking second,
Yes,
then
possibly.
that doesn't give your opponent a free pick of an elephant counter nice and early on that doesn't reveal too much. So
Yeah,
maybe
again,
some thought to the draft phase.
If you are picking the elephant anyway, or intend to pick the elephant anyway, and put it in the 4 predetermined picks, that just gives you one more pick to flex.
It does. Two different approaches to the team drafting phase, I guess. So.
Yeah, I mean, those are just possibilities, and possibilities are really pretty much endless. I mean, there's obviously a finite amount, but it's very high. Middle of the red right hand saying in the chat, no, there's only one, and it's me. Yes, for me, you're the truest elephant. We've also discovered that we are pretty much the same person with Astolfo. Like, you know, we watch the same anime, and all stuff.
God, ban the weeps. Ban all the weeps. And it's also, obviously I said that before with maps, but yeah, it is best of 5 series rather than best of 3. And we've predicted a tournament, like worst case scenario will last up to 6 hours. We are only 3.5 an hour in. And yep, looks like it will be finished. Who knows? But I imagine we'll end it quicker than 2.5 an hour. Oh, well. 45 minutes would be kind of useful. It has a lot of real need to hype it around the actual battle, I guess. Indeed.
I've been thinking RTK's Discord, apparently. With here. Wait. Oh, I just use the time to meme around a little bit.
Indeed. Memes are the reason for living, after all.
Yep, we breathe memes. Angry typing intensifies. It's not angry.
No, I just have a very, very loud keyboard. Okay, there we go. They're churning.
Or maybe I'm just catching up with some banter between Sasha, Hazel, and you, and Crisis. Why is the bot League of Legends though, feels bad, man?
I don't know.
Yeah, no, because go cast.
I am casting.
I don't hear it. Start casting.
I am such a magnificent individual that I can cast and meme at the same time. Maybe it's because my casts are a meme, but hey ho. You take what you get, I guess.
Yep, I did. It looks like the SUNTZU team has relaxed too much. There's none of them in the channel.
Maybe they saw there was a break, went away, came back 5 minutes later, and then saw nothing was happening, so left again. Who knows?
Śmierć joining in. Okay, we've got everyone on the side of SUNTZU and everyone on the side of Sons of Zeus. So yeah, finally we can hop on onto the hype train and start the picks. Although I see Zeus is already walking in. Well, SUNTZU was supposed to do that first, but okay, whatever.
I mean, both teams know each other's predetermined picks, right? So the order isn't the biggest problem.
Yeah, let me just get some hype music, or more hypey than it is right now. It is pretty good. Can I do it? Oh, looks like I'll have to do it manually. Well, all the picks are on their way. SUNTZU have locked in 3 so far of their 4 pretend picks. Waiting to see who is going to play Slingus. It appears that it will be Jojo again.
It's interesting to note that although most teams appear to be taking slingers in pretty much every game, It seems only about half of them have them set as predetermined picks, and I wonder whether that's to leave the option open to bring maybe archers or something else instead on maps that don't favor the flat firing arc of slingers.
Well, one of those maps is definitely Capua.
Yeah, and
SUNTZU has a locked-in predetermined pick of slingers. I mean, there are obviously some spaces where slingers can still be really good on this map, but they're definitely outclassed by archers on this map.
yes.
Especially if you bring those Ambriorix archers, tier 8, with from the shadows, they have huge range and they can safely shoot from behind buildings to land some really good shots because of the high arc, while slingers, well, they'll just be sitting there useless.
Yeah, from the shadows plus snipe is a pretty deadly combination if any of your volleys actually land.
Yeah, well, then again, also, there are only good players in here, so they should be able to dodge most of them.
Yeah, although you often find in large teams on small maps like this that even if you miss what you are actually shooting at with your volley, quite often it will just inevitably hit something else because of the small amount of space there is to spread your units out. Especially in the tight confines of the city street. So it looks like Sons of Zeus are going with multi-AD spears, and they're bringing their own slingers. Kainane slingers as well.
Yep, well, it's not locked in yet, but I imagine so. Fox did manage to find a way how to color his guidelines.
Maybe now he can become the king of rolling.
Or better, king of the green rolling. Yep, those slingers are locked in. So wait, let me catch up here. I was like sorting out the music for the stream. Gotta get that final hyped up with the best of the best music available. And we probably could have done it better, but didn't have time already. Says a guy who was just sitting in his chair doing nothing for 10 minutes waiting for Zeus. And doing interviews, hell yeah. Well. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players locked in for Sons of Zeus, and 5 I imagine for SUNTZU. So now we're waiting for 2 picks on the SUNTZU side.
Well, I should check where the caster spots are on this. I see.
So I don't see Tiberius Brutus Maximus in here, although he definitely has been in the roster. So well, I don't know if they just don't want him in here or he's unavailable. But I remember that on the SUNTZU Invitational 2, he has done some really good work on Spanatz's team while playing Leonidas Pikes. And this map definitely is very good for Pikes.
And it looks like we're gonna be seeing Caesar Javelins from Arclanon. Just an all-round good unit, but maybe preempting a pike pick or to help deal with the elephants.
Yeah, it's definitely against elephants, and well, Caesar buff is just all around very powerful. Spanatz is following up with his Germanicus triple infantry as well, which he should declare if they are medium or not, but he hasn't locked in yet, so. So far we see slingers and javelin on the both sides. Arcanon versus Hell SUNTZU. Both players very well known for the javelin play. Both main javelins, so it will be a very interesting matchup to see. Pelasgos, formerly obviously a cavalry main, just like myself. Now on a ranged unit main, just like myself. Interesting development here. And Pelasgos against Jojo. Jojo is obviously not a ranged unit main, but he plays the slingers in every single battle for SUNTZU, so he just brings whatever his team needs. And Koyusuke is going down, defaulting to the multi spears that he has also mastered quite well. But he's also mostly a cavalry main, and only after that he plays spearman. That's SUNTZU players showing a lot of flexibility. And speaking of main picks, we also see Chai, aka Heart Miner, on his favorite unit, Baroque Cavalry.
Oh, talking of mains, it'll be interesting to see what Adhocracy picks, because I'm expecting they don't want 2 players worth of cavalry on this map, and he is certainly known for his cavalry play.
Yep. Antimos, who is also a well-known multi-spearman player, goes with Hannibal, swordsman. King Io, who is, I think, cavalry main, went down to multi-added spearman, so also some flexibility shown from the side of Zeus.
And it looks like we're getting some pikemen after all.
Yep. Well, pikes are very good on this map.
Yeah. I was wondering whether they were planning on not bringing any because they've subbed Tiberius out, but perhaps he just had real-life commitments or something.
Yep, maybe.
Or maybe it was
that way.
Yeah, maybe it was an elaborate bait to make people think that they wouldn't be bringing pikes.
Yep, they also may have wanted to wait with whether they want to pick pikes or not for later, because they didn't know what SUNTZU will bring. They didn't want to get countered too heavily.
Talking of counters, Smirch has that last pick. So what does SUNTZU think is going to be perfect to add to their team composition?
I wouldn't be surprised if they go for it, one additional light artillery pick. We've seen that light artillery being very dominant on Capua map in the hands of wicked pirates during SUNTZU Invitational 2, so wouldn't be surprised to Smirch trying to do the same. Especially since he's played light artillery in every single match so far, I believe. Yep, that could be the case. But this time, it is going to be sort of double light artillery and 1 swordsman, so they're not doubling down on those javelin. While javelin would be very useful against pikemen and elephants, they're going for that light artillery.
What might be very important to their decision is that with that 1 extra unit of swordsmen, now they can have Caesar and Sulla buffs in a melee engagement, whereas the side of Sons of Zeus can only have Caesar buffs.
That's correct. Although it's more of a debuff, but whatever.
True.
Okay, we are ready to go. Are we? I hope we are.
I think we are.
Jojo?
Everyone's readied up.
Well, maybe he's giving a last speech to his team.
Maybe he went to the way that happens to the best of us.
There we go.
Here we go.
Now, as the music perfectly lines up to start and hype up the matchup of the final between SUNTZU and Sons of Zeus. That's a repeat of the final from the last SUNTZU Open 1 tournament. Although that has been way back in May, so half a year ago. A lot of things changed. Also a lot of similar faces making their return, showing that consistency of top level performance throughout, well, months and years for some of these people.
Although, interestingly enough, a lot of those old faces are on playing with different teams now. I see Menace with Sons of Zeus now.
And what clan was he in before?
La Colmena, I believe.
Possibly. I think I have seen him in one of the Spanish clans. Maybe I'm missing him for a different person. Anyway, we've got the deployment phase underway. 30 seconds for both teams to deploy, and well, I assume both teams know really well what they want to do here.
So it looks like Sons of Zeus are sending a heavy contingent out into the open fields while leaving... Oh no, they're moving around a lot. Okay, so it looks like they've got pikes in the city, basically everything else out in the open fields, and there's slingers at the back, possibly to run out the city as well, I would assume.
Yeah, that's interesting, because SUNTZU has gone for a very similar deployment, and I would say the open field battle favors them heavily because of their light artillery.
And their lack of pikes.
I think we just misclicked something here. Maybe that's fine. Maybe he wants to get a first blood for when they capture that tower. I wonder if his shots won't be blocked by that.
Oh, and we get first blood going to Jojo, although it's not enough to tilt the numbers.
Yep.
Are we going to see...
Very slight touch onto Assassin.
Are we going to see an elephant duel on this watchtower?
Jacob can get in trouble if he's gonna get shot. Shmierz is there with his light artillery. He can start shooting Chai on that watchtower, but he has already redeployed, so didn't take that chance. And he's now shooting at King Io. And Pelasgos is just behind her, so if he manages to land this shot, he may provide a very well needed advantage in that slinger duel.
Jacob has been caught out and lost one elephant, most probably to Menace. Oh no, he manages to get away on low health.
Yeah, that's, well, a mistake on the side of SUNTZU. Pelasgos is, though, unprotected. They shoot a vision on Jojo, they hold the watchtower, not anymore. There's also a question of having a good angle. Archeon caught unprotected. Yeah, he's not hunted, but yeah, they have watchtower. So mispositioned here by Archeon.
Looks like Jacob's coming back in for some disruption.
Yeah, Sons of Zeus attacking from the flank. Jacob is there pretty much alone, although there are no javelins nearby. Now they're maybe closing in. Jacob looks like he will get out of there. So far undamaged. SUNTZU going back to the defensive position, letting their light artillery do the work. Although that light artillery won't be really able to target those elephants because of, well, Jacob just body blocking them. Jacob already managed to do much
damage to the pikes due to their thin formation either.
Menace will now have positional advantage in that elephant duel. But Jacob manages to get just more damage on Menace. Just a skill matchup there. Going
Big
the way of
Jacob. Pelasgos into Jojo as well.
Maybe.
A lot of damage coming out in this slinger fight. Although Jojo has Testudos and Pelasgos doesn't.
Pseudo, yeah. Pelasgos still out there in the open. Has ray shields enabled. Helson, so make it into the way, finding shots in the back of Parthenon. Also, Jojo getting shots in the rear.
Anthemos is engaged, silenced pikemen by the looks of it.
Yeah, these autocracy spikes are there as well, but there are no javelins nearby to punish that. So SUNTZU needs to pull back in that area.
Meanwhile, Autocracy's other pike unit has again been silenced, and
Stroik is there holding the line with his pikemen. In Find the Shade being silenced by Helson, so that unit is not going to last for long. Antimus there in at Cortez. Pelasgos is being heavily shot at by light artillery and Jojo, I imagine.
Menace ended up winning the elephant fight, but Spanats is coming round for a rear flank with some heavy Roman infantry. Yeah, coming in behind the Sons of Zeus forces.
Sons of Zeus forces are also going there. Oh, just find a huge charge into Jojo. Mispositioned, having to run away from that pikeman Koyusuke now attacking pikes from behind, but exposing himself at the very same time to SUNTZU's javelins, who put out a lot of damage on him. Spanat's closing in there, but he'll be pretty much alone in there.
Spanat's moving his unit away from the rear of these pikes. That seems to be a bit of a miscommunication.
The Arcane Javs are also almost dead, so he won't be really able to provide that very much needed damage on Trazumenus. He's now running away from that elephant. Running around, Koyusuke will be able to stop him maybe for a little bit, but Arcane cannot just find enough space to shoot him.
The pikes in the SUNTZU base have finally been routed, although they have caused a lot of problems and a lot of damage. Arklanon gets charged by Chai. That's all she wrote for the...
yeah, Trazumenus now received some nice damage. I think that's light artillery. That now is being charged by Chidox. He found an opening to that light artillery. That elephant is now on top of all the ranged units of SUNTZU team. Also, there's a huge melee fight starting to go down in that base. SUNTZU still very much alive with his javelin, which cannot be said about the SUNTZU team. And then same for the elephant. So that is a huge advantage to Sons of Zeus at this moment. Also Pike Phalanx inside the base, pushing down Spanats and Pardonon, dealing huge damage.
Meanwhile, these SUNTZU's javelins are again silencing Stroyax pikes. And there's not much he can do as he's just getting fought down by infantrymen.
Jojo is now being exposed to Chidox cavalry again. Koyusuke trying to save him. Getting in there, preventing most of the damage. Actually, Chidox receiving a lot of damage in return by charging to that Pike Phalanx, but now SUNTZU's javelin are closing in, able to deal that varying the damage in there, and they are looking to erase everything that is inside the SUNTZU's base. Śmierć, well, he's shooting Pelasgus, but Pelasgus is pretty much dead, cannot fight that crucial damage. Now being charged by Chidox from behind, Autocracy is there as well. Those light artillery units are going to be wiped out from existence, and SUNTZU just has few melee units remaining, which means it's pretty much over.
SUNTZU has no cavalry as well, so I feel that these javelins are just going to run away with the game.
Yeah, they're free to roam and deal
with
anything to
infantry you have left. The javelins can just kite them and deal with them.
Yeah, Koyusuke now managing to kind of make SUNTZU run away for a little bit, but that's nowhere near enough. He's already dead with that small unit. Jojo is now being finished by Assassin and Chai.
These javelins are just going to pour out too much damage. Those
are like, what, 4 units remaining on the side of SUNTZU.
Yeah.
That are healthy enough. I mean, the battle is still kind of close, but just the javelin advantage, the Caesar presence, is going to be enough to provide a needed victory for Sons of Zeus. And it is going to be 1-0. Well, in a very, very fast-paced battle, even though it's already going on for 7 minutes.
A huge impact this game. Huge impact this game by the cavalry. Managed to wipe out one team's javelins while there was no enemy cavalry to answer it.
Yeah, huge advantage also was secured at the very beginning on that watchtower. Jacob got caught out there, lost a lot of health on that one elephant, which then translated into him losing his elephant duel. Even though he managed to get back some damage, it wasn't enough. There's still one elephant surviving.
He only lost the duel by about the same amount of health he lost in that first engagement as well. So without that, he might have won that elephant duel. But
yep, most likely. And yeah, then that watchtower transitioned into early damage by Pelasgus on Archinon Javelin. They were able to kill Archinon's Javelin very well thanks to slingers and elephants, which they were lacking on the side of SUNTZU. That's why SUNTZU still has his Javelin alive inside SUNTZU's base. Well, the entire SUNTZU team is dead.
Yeah, the surviving elephant sowing chaos amongst his javelin and forcing them to run away just allowed them to be easy pickings for the cavalry on the side of Sons of Zeus.
The enemy hold our base!
Okay, well, it's 1-0 to Sons of Zeus, as they will be swapping sides for another capture battle, and then transitioning to Passage of Augustus, which is hopefully going to spice things up. Well, I mean, they're already very, very spicy. Well, very equal battle. I mean, at the end the score was like 292 to 200, I think. I don't make the numbers wrong. So yeah, an equal battle that I felt like Sons of Zeus were all the time in control. Well, that map, well, Śmierć had a nice idea of positioning, but just couldn't find the right angles. Jojo Slingus also struggled to deal a good amount of damage to his targets, although he had plenty to choose from. And I think, yeah, maybe that light artillery peak was too much. They needed that additional front line. Maybe some cavalry to put pressure on the enemy ranged units, which proved crucial in that victory, as well as the elephants.
Yeah. The light artillery was a lot of its damage output depends on what it's shooting at, and it's very good at pouring high damage onto tightly packed units such as Roman infantry. But against the thin formations of things like pikes, the piercing shots don't hit many models, so it doesn't do much damage. And unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on which side you're rooting for, I guess, no bias. The light artillery didn't have many densely packed targets of opportunity, and it could only really shoot at things like pikes that it's not very efficient at dealing with.
Yep, Sons of Zeus and Pelasgus taking their time to create a lobby. You know, settling down what happened, analyzing the match most likely. You know, don't want to give an inch to SUNTZU, because if SUNTZU crawls back and get that inch, they can definitely sting. Well, we have Jojo stopping a player. Well, you don't have to announce that, I guess.
Are we going to see the fabled return of the nub that is Oihazu? Who knows?
You mean Sun Zeus Owa?
Whatever he is called nowadays.
It's called like that on LA.